Sylvester Stallone is an old school dude. Watch him absolutely destroy woke Hollywood. You guys gotta check this out.
Has had enough of woke Hollywood and political correctness in the movie industry. The evidence shows that a lot of social justice warriors are evidently angry that Stallone is taking such a conservative stand, and efforts have been made to blacklist him. And with things getting heated, Stallone has this to say.
After long, hard consideration, your mother and I have decided it's time to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida.
So, we're going to be talking about just how much Sylvester Stallone is pushing against woke ideology in movies, and how this has definitely put a target on his back in more ways than one.
No pressure here, right? Okay, no.
Everyone loves Stallone. From his famous movies like Rambo, Cliffhanger, and Rocky, even when he plays a shark, he is amazing. The veteran actor has expressed his love for movies and the impact they've had on culture, not just in America, but all around the world. And Stallone is well aware that movies are no longer what they used to be. The landscape has changed, and the individuals responsible for the production of movies and shows seem to be adopting ideologies that make absolutely no sense. Stallone doesn't like...
The movie industry is not even what it was 10 years ago. The amount of changes that happened in the last decade is insurmountable. Everything that you see now coming from Hollywood has an agenda. I don't care if it's a superhero movie, a romantic comedy, they always find a way to sprinkle it in there. They just cannot help themselves, and people are just getting sick of it.
Even suggest that. Stallone says he doesn't want any woke stuff on his set, with some articles suggesting that Stallone's words were, "I won't have a bunch of granola moms and their soy boy husbands telling me what I can and can't do on my set with my crew. The wokeness can get lost. We don't need it." While this hasn't been verified to be true, much of what we see in Stallone's recent projects echo the same sentiment. In the second episode of his hit series, Tulsa King, there's a particular scene that suggests Stallone's true feelings about all the wokeness happening in today's culture.
And these pronouns. What the fuck is with the pronouns? He, she, him, they, the, boom.
While he may have been playing a scene, the word on the grapevine is Stallone absolutely and 100% agrees with what was said in that scene and stands by it. It seems that due to Stallone's outright stance on having movies be movies and not some vehicle for pandering to some communities, certain individuals are unwilling to work with him. Right now, he is facing serious allegations for his alleged toxic behavior on the set of Tulsa King Season 2. News outlets reported that the casting agency Cotrette Locke resigned from the set because Stallone and the director of an episode from the series had created a toxic environment for people to work in, and that he was being abusive to the crew. By referring to some of the actors playing background characters, many of which were on the heavy side of things, as ugly tub of lard and fat guy with a cane. Rose Locke, a member of the casting agency, said that she and her team will not be working with Stallone as he had no respect for other people working on set. There seems to be a lot of speculation that suggests that Stallone was being abusive to people on the set of the Paramount series, with rumors going around that he asked the director to surround him with pretty girls. You have to admit, it seems pretty strange that someone like Stallone, who has been in the industry for years, will suddenly start saying things like this, when most people who have worked with him have said nothing but positive things about him.
It's kind of convenient for woke Hollywood that the moment that Sylvester Stallone targets them and he starts outing them for their ridiculous behavior, coincidentally, that's the same exact time when Sylvester Stallone receives hate for his abuse. Me personally, I don't buy it.
The guy knows a little bit about everything. I mean, he could tell you like who made the camera, where's this wood imported from, the desk. He just, the things that you don't think he knows, he knows.
As you can see, people generally have positive things to say about him, and even in his interviews and shows he does, you can hardly tell of a time when he was abusive to anyone. The director Craig Zisk, who was working on an episode for the show, has denied the claim. In an interview with TMZ, he alleged that Cotrette Locke had cast the wrong background characters for a bar scene he was shooting, but he instead opted to keep those characters as extras. Zisk said he specifically asked for extras who were young and hip and not in their middle ages. Locke made a wrong casting choice, but he respected the background artists and everyone had done their job smoothly. It seems that Locke was just trying to start trouble after doing a terrible job. Craig Zisk also felt the need to add that Sly Stallone never said he wanted to be surrounded by pretty girls on set, because for one thing, that's a little disrespectful, and it's not on brand with what we already know about him. And the second reason is, his wife, Jennifer Flavin, is usually on set with him helping out, and have you seen his wife? She's one of the prettiest women ever, so why would he say that? The entire story just makes no sense. It all just seems to be some play to malign the show and get it canceled because of the show's more traditional and a lot more conservative stance. It's probably why the 70s superstar has not officially addressed the issue on any of his social media platforms. He's still focused on promoting the second season of his hit TV show. Sylvester has always been a man of principle and doing things appropriately. I mean, this is the man who taught us how to fight for what's right both inside and outside a boxing ring. I mean, have you forgotten this iconic speech?
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let.
So it makes no sense that someone responsible for such positive content will behave in such a manner. Stallone often refers to himself as one of the last dinosaurs because he comes from an era of male actors and a time when masculinity was defined a lot differently in media. I'm talking about the time when action heroes were essentially bodybuilders.
Action heroes today are nothing like they were in the 80s. Back then we had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson. These people were tough as nails. And you actually somewhat believed it. Like, oh yeah, I can imagine this guy fighting off 50 soldiers in the woods. Nowadays, the action heroes, I hate to say it, they're kind of like dweebs. They're geeks. They're always a skinny, lanky guy. Just look at Marvel, for instance. You have Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Hawkeye. I don't know. To me, it just seems like Hollywood has stripped us of masculinity in any action movie. Even James Bond in the newest movies does some things that make you shake your head. It's like, what is this?
Portman's head, taking names and kicking, well, you know what I mean. Stallone has also been vocal about the role of masculinity in Hollywood and how it's shifted over time, and he credited Arnold Schwarzenegger for his role in defining masculinity in the 80s and 90s. Because we just don't see that in modern Hollywood.
I really respect this guy. I think he's brilliant. What he's done, what he's accomplished, he's had 3 different careers.
Stallone maintains that modern male actors don't have that anymore. The big-time actors like your Timothée Chalamet and your Austin Butlers are flamboyant and more in touch with their feminine side. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but a lot of these kinds of actors are sometimes pushed due to a woke agenda, often to discourage and suppress more traditional forms of masculinity, citing that due to the current state of audiences and with the whole streaming business, many of the movies that worked a couple of decades ago wouldn't have worked today.
The audience, the demographic is different. They're now watching films on an iPhone, so it's not as though the theater has become this habitual shrine.
It's sad to think that he is right, that a movie like Rocky would actually not be as impactful in today's market as it was in the 70s. Kelvin Sorbo, an actor with whom Stallone is expected to team up for an upcoming project, has similar ideologies. He wrote a paper for Fox News that detailed how he was outed from Hollywood because of his conservative views. He also slammed individuals like Chalamet and Billy Porter, who are fond of wearing skirts. He says Hollywood could use more manly men who embody the traditional masculinity which is now considered toxic.
Movies and television will influence our youth. And look at what's going on in the streets across America today, especially in all the blue states and the blue cities.
This is the kind of man whom Stallone is choosing to collaborate with. And it wouldn't be the first time that Stallone has associated with individuals who are unpopular with the people from the more left-leaning and woke community. He was even seen in a meeting with former President Donald Trump when he had some other persons were soliciting for a posthumous pardon for the famous boxing legend Jack Johnson.
Than you would think. So I won't even tell him, but if you want to say a word, you can, Chip. So.
Well, no pressure here, right?
This happened at a time when it seemed like most of the country hated Donald Trump, and almost every single media outlet was fixated on trying to make sure Donald was the most hated man in America. Yet Sylvester Stallone had no qualms about being next to Trump and going as far as thanking him. He was actually very vocal about the fact that Jack Johnson was the inspiration for Apollo Creed, and he wanted to see him get his flowers even after death. The veteran actor has also made comments about just how toxic Hollywood is, and how there are those in Hollywood who are just selfish and are out to swindle people of their sweat and hard work. This is coming as a result of the fact that he no longer owned the rights to Rocky or anything in the Rocky and Creed universe, which is just wild, given the fact that he was the creator of these characters. Irwin Winkler, a former associate and friend of Stallone, was responsible for taking the characters and world away from under him. Stallone has described his actions as reprehensible and nefarious.
Look at the photo of these two guys right here. That tells you everything you need to know. I can spot a weasel when I see one, and the fact that he could strip Rocky, one of the most iconic films in American history, it defines America. It is the American story. The underdog taking on the formidable foe and taking him down. That's a spoiler, I'm sorry, but if you've never seen Rocky at this point, what the heck are you doing? There are too many weasels and snakes in Hollywood, and Sylvester Stallone just seems like an everyday dude. That's just a perfect epitaph for Hollywood in general. They will snake your life's worth to get a couple extra dimes in their pocket. It's disgraceful.
Characters that he created.
You can't make peace when someone has been so nefarious, in my opinion. So, like,
at this point, Rocky said he had hoped that he could have left the rights to these characters as a legacy for his wife and kids. Something for them to use as a memorial was long gone, but now that's never happening. Thanks to Irwin Winkler.
When I'm long gone, this is you.
Right.
This is what I made for you.
This is part of my legacy.
That's
that
all.
I...
That's never going to happen.
This is one of the reasons why he wasn't in Creed 3. Yes, it made sense narratively that Adonis Creed steps out of Rocky's shadow, but Stallone had sort of gotten tired of having to jump 3 hoops and walk on eggshells to use something that should actually belong to him. I guess this is one of the reasons why Stallone is leaving California. According to the actor, he is just tired. Tired of all the craziness going on in the state, tired of Hollywood and their woke agenda, tired of the backstabbing and betrayals, the misinformation, and all the drama. It's honestly no longer worth it.
After long, hard consideration, your mother and I have decided it's time to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida.
Despite what a lot of people think, Sly is actually not a Republican or far-right-leaning individual. Neither is he a fan of the left and all their ideological bullcrap. He tries to stay away from politics because he is not exactly a fan of both sides, and he can see and understand that a lot's going on that meets the eye, and he wants no part of it.
What?
Yep.
That's just the thing. You don't have to be a far-right Republican to see what's going on, the ridiculousness that the left is pushing. If you speak out about any of this stuff, they will go after you with everything that they have. You will never make another movie again. Look at what they did to Kevin Sorbo, Jim Caviezel, Mel Gibson. If you speak out and you have values, they're not going to like that, and you're not going to get any more roles. It just seems like a very toxic and negative environment. I don't know why anyone would live in California, let alone Hollywood, and that's exactly why you see all these big names leaving California to move to states like Texas, whether it be Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and there are countless others. But bottom line, we need more men like Sylvester Stallone, who's not afraid to put their neck out there and say what they believe. Because if more people start doing that, they're going to lose their power. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What's your favorite Sylvester Stallone movie of all time? Drop it in the comments. I gotta hear that. My personal favorite have got to be either Rocky 2, Rocky 4, or Rocky Balboa. But yeah, let me know yours. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see. And yeah, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.